You are programmed to win. Now it's time to awaken. From the moment you took your first breath, the universe whispered a truth almost no one hears. A whisper, hidden in the rhythm of your breath, etched into your heartbeat. You came here to conquer, not to survive. But the world doesn't teach this. The world programmed you to wait, to ask for permission, to live a safe and limited life. And so, millions live as if they are mere pieces in a game they never chose to play. They wake up every day with a tight chest, a stifled soul, and a constant sense that something is missing. But what's missing isn't out there. It's dormant inside you. You are not small. You never were. You were just conditioned to think small. You learned you can't. It's not for you. Life is hard. Money doesn't grow on trees. You were told to settle, that dreaming too big is dangerous, that you must be realistic. But being too realistic is just a polite way to abandon your destiny. The system wants you to fit in. I'm telling you, you were born to break patterns, not follow them. Your DNA carries codes of genius. Your subconscious is a powerhouse of limitless creation. Your mind is the bridge between the invisible and the tangible. And yet, you live as if you have no choice. As if success is a coincidence. Luck, a winning ticket reserved for others. Have you seen an acorn seed? It's tiny, but inside that seed lives a giant that weathers storms, cracks concrete, and reaches for the sky. The difference between the seed and the tree is one thing: activation, the right environment, the right pressure, the right intention. This is you. Everything you need to win is already planted in your mind, but your programming has been hijacked. You're living on autopilot with ideas that aren't yours. You were trained to obey, not create, to repeat, not transform, to survive, not thrive. But this can and will change, because you're hearing this now. And if you're hearing it, it's no accident. Something in you is ready, an echo from your future calling you back to your origin, the top. The truth is simple and relentless. You were programmed to win, but this victory demands awareness, and awareness demands courage. Courage to turn off autopilot, courage to break the patterns of your upbringing, courage to question what you were taught, courage to reprogram your mind, because the mind is not a mirror, it's a projector. What you think, you live. What you repeat, you reinforce. What you believe, you create. Look around. Everything you call reality began as an idea, a thought sustained by belief, passion, and action. Edison lit up the world because he refused to quit after 1,000 failures. Henry Ford ignored everyone who said cars would never replace horses. Walt Disney was called a lunatic and died before seeing his empire flourish. They didn't have something you don't. They simply accessed their original programming and refused to return to zombie mode. They had a vision and fed it until it came alive. They made their minds their greatest ally, and so can you. But to do this, you must break free from the most invisible and powerful prison: paradigms. Paradigms are mental patterns installed in you since childhood. They control 95% of your decisions. They dictate what you earn, how you behave, what you believe is possible. Here's the hard truth. No matter how much you study, read, wish, or pray, if your paradigms aren't shattered, your life won't change. Because the subconscious mind doesn't respond to desire. It responds to repetition, emotion, and deep belief. It starts with one decision, the decision to become the architect of your own mind. Think about it. You have a brain that processes billions of bits of data per second. You have imagination more powerful than any computer. You can visualize your future in detail, feel it before it happens, live it internally before externally. And what you imagine consistently, with emotion and intention, you manifest. But instead, most use imagination to worry, limit, and sabotage themselves. They visualize failure, rejection, and loss, and the universe responds with surgical precision. Because the mind is a magnet, it doesn't attract what you want, it attracts what you are. And you are what you repeat. So if you want wealth, think like the wealthy. Not just about money, but value, time, discipline, and vision. If you want freedom, think like someone who's already free. Don't fight reality with scarcity. Raise your frequency. Rewrite the internal script keeping you stuck. Wake up every day as if victory is inevitable. Feel gratitude before achievement. Act as if failure is impossible. Because when you change within, the outer world bends. It starts in the morning. The first thought when you wake up sets the tone for your day, and your day sets your destiny. Don't grab your phone,
Grab your vision. Don't open social media. Open your mind.
Commit to your evolution as if your life depends on it, because it does. Program yourself. Affirm yourself. Declare who you are and who you're becoming. Wake up earlier than you need. Work harder than necessary. Think bigger than anyone around you ever has. Because the world has no room for the lukewarm. It only respects those who burn with intensity. And when you burn inside, the world feels the heat. Opportunities appear because your energy shifted. The right people approach because your vibration changed. Challenges still come, but you face them as a warrior, not a survivor. You no longer react. You create. You lead. You shape reality with the grit of someone who's decided they'll never be a victim again. This isn't arrogance. It's awareness. Awareness that you're not here to repeat your family's story, your town's narrative, or your past. You're here to write a new destiny, break cycles, build empires from scratch, and inspire others to do the same. But no one does this alone, and no one does it without pain. Yes, it will hurt. Change hurts. Growth hurts. Overcoming mental and emotional addictions hurts. Leaving behind friends who don't match your new frequency will sting. Getting up when everyone expects you to quit will drain you. But I'll tell you this, the pain of discipline is temporary. The pain of regret is eternal. You'll have to choose every day between loyalty to your old self or your future, between repeating patterns or redefining your existence, between 5 more minutes of sleep or waking up to build a life you're proud of. It's not easy, but it's simple. Either you master your mind or it masters you. To master your mind, become a student of life, an eternal apprentice. Wisdom doesn't come from what you already know. It's born from what you're willing to unlearn. Every limiting belief you carry is a prison. The key is in your hand, but it takes humility to admit, I was programmed for less. Now I choose to reprogram. This is the tipping point, the moment everything changes. Because when you take full responsibility for your life, you take control. It doesn't matter where you came from, what they said, or what was done to you. What matters is what you do now, how you turn pain into power, wounds into strength, anger into fuel, silence into action. Pain is inevitable. Transformation is optional. If you think you don't have what it takes, I challenge you to remember everything you've already overcome. The dark days you faced in silence, the nights you cried alone, the times no one believed in you, not even yourself, and you kept going. That's not weakness. That's disguised strength. That's the fire still smoldering in your soul, waiting to blaze. That moment is now, because time doesn't stop, and the world won't wait. The clock of your life is ticking. The question is, will you keep postponing who you were born to be? Or will you decide today that enough is enough? You don't need more luck. You need more presence. You don't need approval. You need decision. Because the universe responds to those who go all in, those who leap without a net, those who act before feeling ready, those who roar to themselves, I was made for this, I was born for this, and I will see it through. They aren't the smartest or most talented, they're the most committed. They've grasped a truth that changes everything. Life rewards movement, not intention. Dreaming is worthless without action. Planning is useless without execution. Wanting more is pointless if you still think like someone who deserves less. And you deserve more. You deserve everything your soul dares to imagine. But the universe only delivers what you're willing to sustain, not what you superficially desire, but what you deeply vibrate, what you visualize in detail, feel intensely, and honor with discipline. Because the mind creates, the heart fuels, but discipline manifests. Discipline is self-love in motion. It's saying yes to your future and no to what weakens your greatness. It's doing what needs to be done, even when no one's watching, especially when no one's watching. I'll tell you something no one else might have. You're not here by accident. If this message reached you, it's because a part of you is ready to awaken, a part buried under layers of fear, doubt, and mediocrity. It's time to dig, to reclaim, to rebuild. Because the world doesn't need more normal people. It needs people like you, awake, intense, connected to purpose, willing to break the matrix and become living proof of transformation. Don't wait another year. Don't wait for Monday. Don't wait for approval. Don't wait for a savior. You are the savior you've been waiting for. You are the answer to your own prayer. Everything you seek is already in you. The clarity, strength, vision, and capacity. You just need to decide it's now. That you'll no longer negotiate your greatness. That you'll no longer live in mediocrity, doubt, or almost. It's time to declare, I am the architect of my reality. I am the commander of my mind. I am the exception. I am the revolution. Because when you truly understand that external reality is a mirror of what's within, everything changes. You stop trying to fix the world and start transforming your inner world. It's not about circumstances, it's about consciousness. Because what you think, you feel. What you feel, you attract. What you attract, you live. This is the code. This is the game few have learned to play. Most are trying to win externally. While losing every internal battle, they chase validation, money, and success, not realizing none of it lasts if the foundation is rotten. Your foundation is your mind, your belief, your frequency, your commitment to who you want to become. Because wealth, health, abundance, these are reflections of the energy you hold consistently. Here's a truth many can't stomach. You're already attracting everything that matches your vibration. If chaos repeats, toxic relationships return, money vanishes as fast as it comes, or anxiety rules your mornings. That's the echo of your mental programming.
The good news? You can reprogram. You can choose daily which thoughts to cultivate, which emotions to nurture, which actions to take. But this demands something few have: radical responsibility. Stop pointing fingers. Stop blaming the past. Stop
outsourcing fault to the government, parents, or the system. You can't control what happened, but you control what you do with it. Those who grasp this break free from the need to please, free from the prison of what if, free from cycles of self-sabotage repeating, I'm not good enough, it's not my time, this isn't for me. These are fear's whispers, voices of a mind programmed to survive, not win. But there's another voice in you, a voice that speaks softly because it's been stifled for years, but never silenced. This voice knows you were born for purpose, knows you're not ordinary, that your vision isn't random. This voice doesn't want you to survive. It wants you to awaken, to shine, to shatter patterns, to inspire others to do the same. Because when you rise, you give silent permission for others to rise. That's why you can't stop. Even when it's hard, even when no one understands, even when you seem to walk alone. The journey of transformation is lonely at first, but ahead it becomes a bridge for lost souls needing proof that change is possible. You can be that bridge, the reference, the example, the spark. But you must decide today to stop dimming your light, to stop delaying your evolution, to stop living as a spectator. Life's too short for autopilot. You're not a machine. You're fire, soul, infinity compressed into flesh. Your time is now. Now is the moment to create a vision. Not a small, comfortable, or acceptable vision. A giant vision, one that terrifies you, makes your heart race, because that vision will pull the best from you. Demand new actions, routines, and patterns. Yes, at first it'll seem impossible, but impossible is just untrained. With amidais, discipline, all things approach. With repetition, all things normalize. With faith, all things transform. Your vision doesn't need to make sense to others. It just needs to be real to you. You don't need others to believe in your dream. You need to never doubt it again. This is why you need silence, focus, presence. Clarity doesn't thrive in chaos. Evolution doesn't exist without solitude. Great masters formed in silence. Great empires were born from minds daring to pause, think, and create. You have this power, but you must escape the noise, distraction, superficiality. Dive into yourself. Truly listen, because the answer was never out there. It's always been there, deep in your chest, waiting for you to silence the outer world and hear. And when you listen, everything aligns. Ideas flow, decisions simplify, opportunities appear, because you've stopped losing yourself outside and started finding yourself within. You're not broken, never were. What you lack isn't motivation, it's direction. Direction born from a greater purpose, something beyond material gain, something connecting your pain to your mission, something turning your story into a tool to heal and guide others. This is true success, not just to conquer but to serve, to leave a legacy, to know that when you're gone, the world changed because you were here. That's greatness. That's living with soul. That's life in its purest expression. And this life is already yours if you dare to claim it. So rise, not just physically. Rise mentally. Elevate your thoughts, energy, and intention. Rising is an inner act before an outer one. It's not about showing strength to the world. It's about becoming unshakable within. Because the outer world will test you, throw obstacles, mock your ambition, try to crush your confidence with every closed door, cynical comment, or temporary failure. But if you're anchored within, None of this breaks you. You may stumble, fall, bleed, but you won't stop, because your decision is already made. And that decision is stronger than any circumstance. This is the difference between those who win and those who quit. Winners decide they won't stop, even when everything says they should. They know the universe doesn't give shortcuts to the committed. It gives tests, battles, silent phases where nothing seems to happen, but everything is. These phases are invisible labs forging your new identity, like Chinese bamboo, growing underground for years before bursting forth and soaring meters in weeks. But most rip out their seeds too soon, because they see no results, because they lack patience, because they confuse slowness with failure. But slowness isn't failure, it's maturation. You need to mature. Expand your mind before expanding your wealth. Strengthen your character before expanding your reach. Because true success isn't what you conquer, it's what you sustain. Anyone can have a peak, few live on the summit. Because living on the summit demands a new standard, a new version, a new level of alignment between who you are inside and who you claim to be. It's easy to post motivational quotes, easy to fake strength, hard to stay focused when no one's watching, hard to stay disciplined on days your mind wants to quit. But this is where giants form, in the shadows, in silence, in invisible consistency. You're not here by accident. You've been called to remember who you are, called to shed the mask of complacency, called to stop living half your potential. Deep down, you know you were born for more, not fame, impact. You were born to inspire, elevate, transform. It starts when you start. When you decide, irrevocably, that your story will no longer be dictated by fear's voices. It starts when you stop waiting for permission, when you flip the switch, when you look in the mirror and say, enough. Enough hiding, enough self-sabotage, enough shrinking. Now is the time. Now is your life. And life won't wait. It doesn't negotiate with the indecisive. It responds to clarity, commitment, and unshakable faith. Faith isn't the absence of doubt. It's choosing to move forward with doubt, courage to act even as fear screams, deciding to trust that if you keep giving your best, the universe will align everything in your favor, because it always responds to dominant energy. And your energy from now on is decision, greatness, excellence. Wake up every day as if you're on a mission, because you are. A mission to become all you were, born to be. To leave Earth better than you found it. To break cycles, heal stories, awaken souls.